What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades. Today's feature blade is the Boker Plus Serge Panchenko designed Lancer folder. Look at this, guys. It's beautiful. Now, this particular model is a variant that is a BladeHQ exclusive. You can get this right now. It's in stock. I checked for $79.95. And what you get in this exclusive is an upgrade of blade steel from 440C in the base model to S35vn in this upgraded model. You also get solid carbon fiber handle scales rather than G10. So it's a nice little upgrade for only about $20 more. The base model in 440C and G10, I think, is about $59, guys. So this is not a very expensive upgrade. Now, Serge Panchenko is a custom knife maker and designer. He lives in the United States. He is originally from the Ukraine. I believe that he came to the United States as a young boy, and he's a very well-known custom knife maker and designer. I know him mostly from his smaller designs. The Panchenko bean knife is a very well-known knife, and I mean, it's very well known. Not only his custom versions, but it is a favorite of the clone world also. All right. What we've got here is a small frame lock folder. It's very flat. It's sort of a wide and flat profile, easy to carry, very lightweight. Let's set this down very quickly and we will look at the packaging. Like many Boker Plus knives, this comes in the Boker magnetic flat packaging. You can see here we've got a model number that's 01B0067, and it is a Chinese-made product. It's a Boker Plus product. Inside this box, you will find your paperwork with your warranty and care information. There is a small Torx wrench in here to take care of this knife, and then you're going to see the die cut for the particular knife size and shape foam insert. So I like this packaging from Boker Plus. For a $79.95 knife and many other Boker Plus products, this is nicer packaging than a lot of $200 knives. So like I say, this is a sort of a small, easy to carry sort of EDC knife. Let's go ahead and knock the specs out, get all the numbers out of the way. What you're looking at is about a 3 1/8 inch blade length, and that's almost 8 centimeters. It's about 78 millimeters. Your blade stock thickness is 110 thousandths of an inch, or 2.8 millimeters. The blade width right at 1 inch, or 25.5 millimeters. Your handle length is about a 1/16 over 4 inches and just a little bit over 10 centimeters. Handle thickness 402 thousandths of an inch, or 10.2 millimeters. Your handle width pretty much the same as your blade width. It's just slightly more than an inch, or 25.6 millimeters. Your closed width, 1.28 inches at the widest, or 32.7 millimeters. Overall length is 7 1/8 of an inch, or 18 centimeters. And we're going to look at something real quick here. Now, I said that the handle length is just slightly greater than 4 inches, or 10 centimeters. Now, your closed length is going to be a little bit longer than that. You can see that this is a front open or flipper, so you've got this tab that sticks up. And let's say that's a 1/16 of an inch, guys. All right. So your stop pin diameter is 120 thousandths of an inch, or about 3 millimeters. Behind the edge thickness, 25 thousandths of an inch, or 0.64 millimeters. Your handle to blade ratio, a very respectable 0.78. And your weight, a very lightweight 2.22 ounces, or 63 grams. So you can tell by the specs there, we have a very lightweight What you're looking at here, guys, is just a little bit of steel in the blade, and then the rest of this is lightweight materials. Now, as far as the materials go, again, you're in S35vn for your blade steel. That is an American-made steel. It is made by Crucible. It is a powder metallurgy type of steel. It is a high carbon, high chromium, vanadium, and niobium alloyed stainless steel. And it's an improved version of S30V with the added niobium, which along with the vanadium in it is carbide formers. They combine with free roaming carbon and they form carbides, which are ultra hard particles within the matrix of the steel. So those carbide alloyed steels tend to be very toothy and aggressive cutters. You will typically see S35vn rock weld. The factory rock weld range is 58 to 61. You typically find it about 59 to 60 in popular knives. And what you get with that is good to very good wear resistance or edge retention, good to very good toughness or chip resistance, and good corrosion resistance. S35vn is a very balanced high-end stainless steel. No, it doesn't perform like the ultra high-end steels like say S110V. You're not going to get the edge retention of S110V, but you will get greater toughness. So that's a balancing act in steels. But S35vn is one of the most popular high-end stainless steels on the market right now. Many manufacturers use it. Many custom makers use it. It is extremely popular. You will see it spread across a price range from $50 sometimes all the way to $500 in mid-tech and custom knives. Very popular, very good stainless steel. Now in the handle, what you've got, very basic. You've got two slabs of carbon fiber. It is full carbon fiber. It is not a laminate. An inset titanium liner lock. Your small hardware at the butt end here, your screws are stainless. You do have a titanium pocket clip, and you have a couple of titanium standoffs here. Now, the pivot is very interesting. Now, I disassembled this knife to take a look at it and checked everything with my magnet, and the pivot is actually a hybrid two-piece design. The female and post side are actually titanium. The male side, which the front is the male side, the back is the female side, but the male side is stainless. So you are screwing stainless into titanium. Another thing about that pivot is it is a captured pivot, so you can tighten or loosen that pivot without it turning and having to get on both sides with a Torx wrench. But there's a couple of different ways that there's more than a couple of ways that companies do a captured pivot. And the way this one is done is the length of the pivot, the female side is round except for the very tip, and it is D-shaped. It has a flat keyway on one side. So the hole that's drilled on the back for the female part to go through is round. The hole that's on the front is D-shaped, and only the very end of this is D-shaped. That's very interesting to me. But it's also interesting that you've got titanium standoffs on this. Let's get that to focus. And they're very basic, guys. There's no machine work on them. They're just round standoffs, and then that titanium pocket clip. This thing is very, very lightweight. 2.2 ounces or 63 grams. Very lightweight, very flat, easy to carry, guys. So there you go in your materials. And like I said in the introduction, a $20 increase over the base model of this to go go from 440C to S35vn and from G10 to solid carbon fiber is very reasonable. If I was going to buy this knife, this is the version I would buy. I would not even consider the G10 and 440C version. And with that said, this is not my personal knife. This is a loaner from a subscriber. This came from Brian. He sent me a box full of knives, and I've got a few days off from my new job here, so we're going to get some reviews done. And Brian, thank you very much from myself and from the viewers for the loan of this. It's going to give us some great content. All right, let's go to the fit and finish. As far as this blade goes, again, in S35vn, it is sort of a, you know what, it's a sort of actually a spear point sort of profile, your outside profile of the blade. It is in a saber grind. It is a flat primary grind. It goes up just above halfway on the blade width. And then you've got this swedge on the drop of the point on the back side here. You've got this very large opening hole right here. You know, you might want to call that a spidey hole, but it's very much not. It's very large, guys, and it is not only for opening, but it is an aesthetic part of this knife. I don't know what word that I'm looking for, but it is very much a part of the aesthetics and style of this knife. All right, you've got this flat grind. It goes down to a fairly thin edge. You know what? We're in 3mm or 2.8mm blade stock here with that saber grind. So 25 thousandths behind the edge thickness is not bad on this. Now, Brian has resharpened this knife, but I do not think that he reprofiled it. So it's going to have a fairly narrow secondary bevel on it. It does have a very good sharpening choil. It is too small to work as a forward choil for your finger, but it is an excellent sharpening choil. No problem at all sharpening this knife all the way to the termination of the edge here. No flare, no funny stuff down there. Very good Boker. There is no jimping on the back of this, and this blade is in a complete sort of a, not a high polish satin, but it is a satin finish. It is very sort of soft and you know what, it is a satin finish, but it's not really polished like we see on a lot of knives in the last couple of years. Satin finishes have gotten to a higher and higher degree of polish, to where some satin finishes are actually approaching what we used to consider a polished finish. All right. So, you know, nothing in the fit and finish that's an issue there, guys. And in fact, the blade is just overall very well done, especially at that sub $80 price point, considering the higher end blade steel. In the handle, the machining on the G10 and the quality of the G10 are both excellent. I have not seen any voids at all. If you take a look around the edges here, the machining, the chamfering is very well done. It's just a beautiful, beautiful carbon fiber, and it's not in a gloss. It's in sort of a satiny sort of feel here. My favorite type of finish for carbon fiber. Just enough sheen to show the chatoyance of the carbon fiber, but not polished enough to make it slick. All your small parts, your liner, pocket clip are all done in a bead blast or a combination bead blast stone wash finish. The smaller parts, the screws, are in a bead blast, and then your pocket clip is bead blast and then lightly tumbled over that. As well as the inset liner lock tab here. And that's very much, if you discount the polished look of the the satin look of the blade, it's very much an industrial and, in my opinion, an attractive look. I like that bead blast that's then tumbled with the carbon fiber. I think that's a very attractive look. And then you throw in the satin on the blade, just a sort of a little more pop up here on the blade end, and a very attractive knife. Very good fit and finish overall. All right, let's go to action. Action is where I start sort of, this is not the type of knife that I would personally buy. And the reason is, I'm not a big fan of front flippers. I just personally, I don't like it. I like a regular flipper tab type of flipper, but that's, my personal opinion is neither here nor there. What we want to do is take a realistic look at this knife. And the issue I have with the action on this knife is this. Now, it is on a Teflon washers on both sides of the pivot, but it is smooth. It's smooth Teflon feel, if you know what I mean. But the thing is, there is no jimping on the spine of the blade here as far as using the front flipper. So it takes a very, very precise sort of movement to open it. And, here, after practicing so I don't look like an idiot on camera, it's great. Just to pull this out of your pocket and open up when you're doing something, your other hand is busy over here and you've got to cut something and you're in sort of an awkward position or you're working or whatever. It's a little bit of a move to get it open successfully as far as it being a front flipper. Is it possible? Well, yeah, you just saw me do it. Is it probable that you're going to do it every time? No, I don't think it is. A little bit of jimping up here would have really, really helped this knife. And I would actually like to see Boker Plus add, just a 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter length of some light jimping up here would really, really help. Now, as far as opening it up with this large hole, obviously, no issue there. That is the way that I would open this knife. And discounting this tab right here for a front flipper, I never even really considered this knife a front flipper. To me, it's more of a, sort of a rolling open, Spyderco-y sort of hole type of opener. And I really like it. The detent is pretty decent on it. It's not a super stout detent or anything. It's definitely, okay, I can shake it open, so it's, it's not super severe. If you're in an area where that detent needs to be severe so you don't get in trouble with a knife, you might want to take that into account. But good thing is, other than that, if you are just going to open this with the hole, guys, I don't see any issue there. I actually like that. And the lockup is super solid. There's no play in any direction. I didn't have to loosen this pivot up to where there was play in order to make it smooth. It's very smooth, guys. There is the slightest amount of lock stick, but it's a thin titanium liner. So listen to this. Okay, that's what you get. That's it. It's not the type of lock stick where you're like, oh my God, this thing is so sticky and my thumb is sore. I'm tired of it. It's more of, and I've said this before with other knives, it's almost like the glass rod break that you describe a good 1911 trigger pull as. It's really easy. That to me, personally, it just feels secure rather than sticky, if you know what I mean. The centering on this, Very, very good, guys. And like I said, the lockup is great and it's very smooth, pretty much as smooth as you would expect from a couple of small Teflon washers. So the action, no issue there. I would like to see a little bit of jimping on this forward opening tab right here. Now, ergos. Let's start here on the blade. We'll do the utilitarian use of the blade. Pretty basic blade design, guys. You've got plenty of straight flat edge, some nice belly right here. The tip is not, this profile is just not super pointy, so you're not getting a lot of super tippy, stabby, piercy sort of use out of it. And you know, with 2.8 millimeter stock on this 3-inch blade, that's a pretty thick stock to length ratio. And with a very small swedge here on the tip, I don't consider this to be a stabby, tactical martial use knife. It is what it is. It's a utilitarian everyday carry knife, and in that respect it's very good. The 25 thousandths edge thickness is slicey, plenty slicey enough for this type of blade. This lightweight build, you're not going to be doing a lot of super heavy duty work with it, so no issue there. I think as far as utilitarian use, the blade is very good. The handle, it's flat front and back. It's rectangular. Sorry guys, hit my camera. It's rectangular. It's wide open. No funky choils. No swoopy divey anything on it. No curves or anything. It's going to fit everybody's hand. Now, it's going to feel a little boxy, because that's what it is. I mean, you look at this knife, you know that going in. Anybody with any experience at all with knives can take one look at this and go, okay, that's going to be a little boxy going in. And it is, but that's not... It's not anything to fault it with. It is what it is. It's designed to look a specific way, and it's, you know, it's thin and it's wide and it's flat and it's, you know, the edges are radiused. It's comfortable. I've got no issues there at all. You know what? I like it. I'm pretty particular about knife handles. I like finger choils and the drop in the butt and the ergonomic curvy doos and all of that. I like that. But I also like this. I can't fault it for the particulars of this design, because they're not really bad. They're just sort of boxy. I love this cutout right here, this large cutout for the access to the liner lock, and the way that this liner lock has got these two ball mill lines in it. To me, guys, that just looks good. Does it make any difference to the ergonomics of the handle? No, not really, other than the fact that it gives you ultimate access to this liner lock without really a chance to accidentally disengage. You know, that's a balancing act in a liner lock. You want good access to it, but you don't want to be gripping it hard and squeeze that liner lock. Because this is only cut out on this show side scale, but you've got the full scale on the back, you don't really put any pressure directly against that liner lock when you're holding it and using it. So you've got, you know, ultimate access, but not really a chance to accidentally disengage, and I like that. So as far as the ergonomics, yes, it's a little boxy. Yes, it's a little flat, but it's not bad at all, guys. And, you know, it's a beautiful, beautiful, attractive design, and that's the little bit of trade-off you get for that. So I will give it a good to go on ergonomics also, because you're not going to use this thing as a heavy-duty work knife. You're not going to be out there, you know, processing wood at your campsite with this knife. This is not a survival knife. You know, if you're an Air Force pilot and you get shot down behind enemy lines, you're not going to be thinking, you know, thank God I've got my BladeHQ exclusive Boker Plus Panchenko liner Lancer, you're not going to be thinking that, guys. This is sort of a lightweight EDC sort of gentleman's carry type of knife. It fits very well in that niche. The only thing, really the only thing that I can find fault in this design is that lack of jimping right here on this forward opening tab. There would be much greater purchase there for that forward opener, forward flipper type design if there was a little bit of jimping there, because remember, this is a satin finish and it is satiny and slick. So you've got to sort of work at that opening technique, and what you're seeing on the camera is I did work on it and practice it a little bit before I filmed this. So keep that in mind. And other than that, this one is good to go. I'm going to recommend this, and I'm going to tell you right now, I think this is an attractive design from Serge Panchenko. I like a lot of his designs, but I do like this. There's so many aspects about this knife, the basic utilitarian blade shape, the combination of higher end materials for not much more cost over the base model. The combination of the different finishes in the handle with the bead blast, stonewash small parts, and the carbon fiber I really like. It is just a very attractive, well-made knife for less than $80, and I can recommend it. All right, so as always, I thank you very much for taking the time to watch one of my videos. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.